Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday. So, end of the day for us here in Ireland. We are nearly on Friday and then weekend. So, thank you very much for showing up and having us in your laptop, mobile, or whatever other device you have. So, thank you very much. All people, SSI workers, thank you very much for being here with us today. And today we have Samantha with us. Yeah. Okay. So I hope she already sent her essay or assignment and she's more relief. No.
I did not.
No. Her face is saying no.
No. I'm still struggling with it.
Okay. Let's keep praying for her to finish this as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So, hello for our friends in UK, our friends in America, in Brazil, in Portugal, in Poland. Thank you very much for being here with us today. And today we will keep going talking about the hopes and consolations. Hey, Leah, how are you, my dear friend? I think Leah is in Sweden, isn't it, Leah? Yeah, so I forgot about saying hello to Sweden. So thank you, guys. And Samantha, can you do the initial prayer?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's close our eyes if we want to do so. Let's raise our thoughts to Jesus, to God, to our spiritual friends, to our guardian angels. Let's ask for this conversation to be fruitful. Let's ask for them to inspire us tonight so we can say the right things, so we can listen to the right things as well, so we can learn from this conversation. Let's ask as well for them to help us during these times. Well, actually, during all the times, because we are always learning and facing difficulties and trying to improve ourselves. So, the spiritual friends, our guardian angels, first of all, thank you so much for your help always. And please help us to stay with you. We know that we need to do our part. We need to be connected with you all the time. And sometimes we forget. Sometimes we don't prioritize that. But we know and we understand that this is our role. And this is something we need to do. And we understand also how important it is to be connected with you, with Jesus, with God. When we are happy, when we are struggling with anything. So we ask for intuition. We ask for all of your help. Because we are still trying to improve. So be with us tonight, and hopefully we'll be with you as well tonight. So be it.
So be it. Okay. Just doing a kind of a recap from last week. Last week, Neide and I, we started this chapter, Hopes and Consolations, and we talk about how is the relationship between ourselves and family, which ties with discussion with Vanderlei about the gospel. and some saying, okay, why we have some differences, why we have like hunger in one country and wealth in another country. So we drive more or less about it. And keep it going in this discussion today. We start from question 932. Yeah? And the discussion today will be around why bad or evil or not good things prevail against good things. Okay? And I will start to to answer these questions in terms of, I already gave this example here, but I do not find any other best one to give to you guys. But let's say the population of Earth's population is about 8 billion people ish. Okay? Let's assume 2% of these 8 billion people, they are really, really bad. That evil person, they feel pleasure in order to make someone suffer, jealousy, envy. They are really, really bad person, let's say like this. Okay? You can put a number. We can increase this to 2%, 3%, but it's not the point I'm saying is, it's not 90% of the earth like this. And the second point is, if the people who are really bad is the minority in the world, the majority of the people are good, right? What do you think? Someone, yes or no?
I would say they are good in essence.
Yeah, okay. So far, so good. Yeah. So they are good, but they don't practice the good. They are okay with everything. They are fine with everything. They don't practice the charity. They don't practice the good. So if the majority of the population are okay with everything, oh, never mind, oh, this doesn't bother me, someone is suffering, oh, it's her problem, it's her problem, I don't care, I'm okay here, I have to mind my own problems, I need to be here, okay, it's fine, I pray sometimes for someone, but I'm here. So that's the great majority of the people. Okay? And in order to make, Leah said, I'm on the fence. Yeah. yeah. You're right, Leah. It is. Because we need to understand, if we don't do the good, who's doing bad? Looks like they are prevail against the good. Like if we open the television, the newspaper, the internet, I would say in 80 or out of 10 articles are bad things. Someone killed someone, a bomb exploded there, politics, corruption, let's do the lack of vaccine in poor countries, poverty, hunger. It's full of bad news. And you needed to kind of mining in this news to get something really, really good. Why? Because people are more interested in see sufferings. As long as don't reach me. Till COVID is happening to someone else, oh, it's a disease. It's very sad, but we need to keep doing our job. Okay. Once the COVID reached your family, oh, now it's different. Now it's completely different. And why this happens? Because we are, like Leah said, on a fence. We don't put the mask of the evil mask, but we don't put the, let's call, angel mask. We don't do it. We don't practice what I'm saying, practice the charity is help the others as much as you can, care about the others, make things moving. We don't have a politics system in which we'll look to everyone with one common eye. They don't make their laws to benefit themselves, not the others. No, we don't have this kind of some people can go to the college, other people cannot go to college, don't have the same opportunity. I read an article, I think it was on the BBC, and there is a scientist. He was studying why some countries are more developed in wealth than others. No, so I don't recall the theories, but there are theories about the culture, there are theories about religion, there are theories about the colonialism, but neither of these options is working because we cannot apply these rules. One example, most countries in Americas were colonized. But if you look to America was colonized as well. So why they are wealth and basically all the South America, they are not. And the bottom line of this research is the development. When we started to make developments, like building roads in order to connect people, building houses, when we start to develop this process, this machine starts to move on. Everything starts to change. And we can see, like in some countries, especially in North of Africa, the African continent, they don't have even roads. To go one city usually for us is like 1 hour driving. In those countries, perhaps take 2 or 3 days to reach that city because the roads, what they call roads, it's in the terrible conditions. So how they can develop a country like this? How can invest in this type of not new, but developing develop things for the people? Everybody has your approach. Everyone know where your boundaries. Everybody start to work, and things start to move on. Robbie saying here, by the way, hello, sunny California for Bobby. We are challenged to allow empathy to work for us. We learn when it affects us, usually through degrees of suffering. Yeah, I agree with you, Robbie. And that's my kickoff. Samantha, do you have any comments relating to that?
Yeah. So I think that when we talk about good people and bad people and good things and bad things, it is also good to look at it taking a historical perspective, if we can say like that. Because when we were primitives, we basically didn't know what we were doing. And like if you were hungry and we had to eat, and you know, somebody was also hungry and we only have one source of food, we would take it. We wouldn't even think the other person needs to eat as well. So we, and this is like from the beginnings, you know, probably what, 8,000 years ago or something like this, or even a bit less. I'm not very good with dates. I never was. But anyway, so at the very beginning of our time here on Earth, and then I think we improved, and then, you know, with the first civilizations, things were pretty bad as well at that time. You know, if you think about it, in, I think it was Mesopotamia, 3,000 years before Christ or something like this, and when they started to have civilizations, that they institute a rule, and that is called an eye for an eye. So if somebody would took your eye, they would have their eyes taken, and things like that. So the principle of justice kind of started there. It wasn't perfect at all, actually, because the measures were they were not good, because they would favor the wrong people, and also if we think about justice, they were not just according to our classification of justice today. Maybe it would be even far from justice, or even far from justice in the future. But we learned from it, and I think we improved it, and we improved, and now we are in a situation where we are much better than before, which is good. So that's why I said we are good in essence, and it's important to state that, because I don't think anybody is bad as such. You know, I don't think anybody is bad per se, but they have bad actions because they didn't learn to do better. They don't know better. And a lot of us are, when I read what Leah said here, she said, I'm on the fence. I thought I'm actually the same, you know, but in a sense that it's not that I am on the fence, but I think that now I know more than I knew before, and I can do different things and be probably more kind with people, or kinder, not sure, but I'm still learning. So I think the majority of us is still learning. So we are in that situation where we are struggling. We want to do good things. We want to be better. We want to, we don't want to be a bad person, definitely. And we sometimes don't know exactly what to do when a situation happens and we need to make a decision, and that should be a good decision. So the way I think about it is, a lot of times you use your frame of reference when you're making a decision. Reference is biased by your passions, and that's why it's so important to work on our passions. So, and it's really hard. It's not easy, and that's why, that's kind of how I understand what you said. You know, the majority of us, we are good people and trying to do good things, but then these people that are not really interested in learning or improving, or maybe it's not that they are not interested. Maybe that's the word, interested. They are not interested at the moment. At least they don't see the value of it, and they decide to do bad things. So those people, they prevail because they are willing to do a lot of things without thinking of the consequences to them and to others. While good people, they think about them. They think about the consequences, and they are not willing to do whatever they have to do if this is going. So say, for example, let's say I think that something should happen in a certain way. No, actually, I need to give a more tangible example. So say, for example, I think you shouldn't kill someone, and let's assume you think that you need to kill that person because that person did something, whatever it is. So the situation here is, you think something was done badly, or something bad was done, and you need to take an action about it, and you think you should kill this person. And then I think, or it could be the other way around, because I don't want to be framed as the good person here necessarily. But let's say I think, okay, let's not confuse this thing. Let's say I think this shouldn't be done and you shouldn't kill anybody. Now, if you think you're right, and you're willing to convince everybody that you're right, and you're willing to do the action, then this is something that is going to prevail. Because if I am like good, if I respect other people's opinion, and if I don't want to necessarily convince anyone of my thinking, then I have less power in that struggle, you know. So I'm not sure if it was a good example, but it's just to show that a lot of times we don't do good because we are not willing to assume the consequences of our actions. Also, I think that because we value other people's or whoever is good and is acting with a good mind, with a good consciousness, and they don't want to infringe anybody's consciousness as well. So they don't want to convince anybody. They believe in God, and they know that God has its own time or his own time. And whoever it is that needs to change their thinking, they will change when their time comes. And it's in the hands of God. And good people usually respect that. So that's one thing. And if I can give you another example. So just because I was reading about this the other day. I don't know if you guys remember Confucius. So he's a Chinese guy that at his time, 300 years before Christ, something like this, 200, something like this, he understood that we needed to be good. The fighting wasn't good, that we needed to help each other, and those were his values. And he created a community. There were a lot of people at that time thinking like him, which was really good. But the people in power, they valued other things. Like, they valued their pride. They wanted to be powerful. They wanted to be right. They wanted to rule, all those things. And they were willing to kill people to conquer other territories, or, so they could. There's a survival thing going on there as well at that time, because if you didn't attack, you could be attacked, and you could die. But Confucius went to this guy. I think he was an emperor at that time, and he explained his line of thoughts, and he explained why, and he was right, probably. I think he was right. So the powerful guys at that time just thought that it was a weak way of thinking, and because they were willing to kill for them to be considered right, and for their position to extinguish, they killed Confucius. And on the other hand, Confucius were willing to die, because he understood that God's time is God's time. It's not him who would, like, everything was in the hands of God. This was the first thing. And the second thing was, it was part of his values. He would rather die than kill somebody. He would rather die than make someone believe or forcefully interject some idea in somebody else's mind. So that's another thing that I think about it. So that's why a lot of times good people are seen as weak, but they're not necessarily. A lot of times we are timid, and we are shy. We could do much more, but we don't want to do it for a variety of reasons. Convenience, a lot of reasons, or even difficulties. One thing that happened to me was that I decided to stop drinking, right? Drinking alcohol. I still drink water and things like that. So it was really difficult for me at the beginning, really difficult, because I was used to do it, and I had a lot of friends that were used to do it as well, and I have to admit it was fun a lot of times. And when I decided to stop, because I thought it was the best thing for me to do, I noticed that some friends that I had decided that it wasn't, and how can I explain that? I can understand their point of view as well, because they probably miss me. They probably miss the old me, the one that were going out and having fun and all of those things, So I'm not able to do that anymore. So they kind of they went away. But those who were my friends, really, they decided to do other things with me. So, okay, so we can't go out and drink anymore. We can do something else, right? So I kind of say, for example, if I had 20 friends, I ended up with 5. Just as an example, I don't know the number exactly. Yeah, so this happens, and a lot of times I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to drinking, because it was funnier, and I had more friends, and I was more sociable, and all of those things. a lot of times I thought about doing it again. I thought about giving up a lot of times. I'm not saying I'll never drink again. That's not what I'm saying here. Even though I intend to not drink the way I used to drink. But what I'm saying is sometimes do the right or do a good thing is not that easy. It's not that easy. So we encounter difficulties and along the way, you know, and it's not easy. So a lot of times we give up because of that. So yeah, just as an example.
Yeah. Hob's saying here, maybe it's our struggle with selfishness and blocks our ability to have empathy for others. Yes, you are correct here, Robbie, because we are the artisans of our material suffering and our mental suffering. Because, for example, when you go to the supermarket, you go to buy just a butter. You arrive home with a butter, with a milk, with a bread, with, I don't know, a lot of things you don't need. But you just went to the supermarket to buy a butter. When you go to the supermarket, we usually see the promotions on the top of the shelves, on the corner of the shelves. People pay. I work in this kind of data analysis before. I know there are a huge study on consumer behavior in supermarkets. Even the height of the shelf is calculated, and the supermarket charges for a space, for a corner, for your product linked with some other product. So anyway, it's a lot of study behind it. I never imagined this, but yes, they do have. But the point,
even the floor, it's slippery because they don't want us to walk too fast in the supermarket because we need to look at the, you know, the shelves and
that's the
buy
one.
more.
That's the one. Yeah, exactly. And usually, things we need, like say, things we need is healthy. For example, they are at the end of the supermarket, hidden somewhere. Things we don't need, like chocolates, soda. I'm saying in bad thing. No. It's sometimes the beginning. It's there. It's easy to access. Just go and grab it. So, saying that is, we are the artisans of our own sufferings, because we can see people being sick because they didn't get the new iPhone. And they are really sick, you know? They need to go to the therapy. You know, it's just because they didn't buy the new iPhone. My iPhone was just my guinea pig, but people, I don't know. I needed that purse, you know, like Louis Vuitton bag. I need that Louis Vuitton bag. You need why? So, and the really suffering of the world is two things: envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy, you know, it is the worst things we do have in the world. That's what we need to overcome in order to progress, in order to think about the others. And that is a big difference between one and the other. Envy is when you want to be in the place of someone else. And jealousy, it is when I don't want you do such thing. Again, you buy a new car. Your neighbor, you see your car. He wants to buy a brand new car. And they start to buy another car. It's a fighting. Because they need, is a fighting of exchange of power. Exchange of who is better than the other. And we are not saying here who is better than the other. Let's say here, I see a good thing when I learned the European Union was taking care of the vaccine rollout. European Union is giving the same quantity of vaccine to each country, regardless if we have a GDP 10 whatever or a GDP 0.0. They are giving the same. So equal opportunity for everyone. I'm not discussing here if it's working or not working. We know it's not as it is. It is as it should be, because the vaccines were deviated to other country that people they offer more money, so money talks. And what about our friends again in Africa? What about like India? India is one of the main producers of vaccine, but they don't have vaccine for themselves. And people are dying. Now is the second country with high rates of dying people. So our point here, when we start to look the others and establish someone else as our reference point, we start to fail. Because you start a kind of competition. Because you envy that person. It's wealth than you. I'm not saying even richer than you. I'm saying wealth. Wealth in health, wealth in this, wealth in that, okay? So, and suddenly, a year ago, we have seen a virus who affect people regardless their social status, regardless their wealth, regardless their country, regardless their culture, regardless their religion, regardless anything. And this wants to show us we are all the same. We belong to the same planet. And we make these divisions. It's not God is in injustice. God is not fair. No, it's us. Well, let's see here. There's a good question here. I like this saying here. Comments come from Kardec on question 933 of the Spirit's book. Kardec says here, sometimes jealousy does not have a specific object. There are persons whose nature makes them jealous of anyone who is successful or who has risen above mediocrity, although they have no direct interest in the matter. They are jealous solely because they cannot reach the same level. So, jealous, you don't want to be in the position of that person. Okay? So, we need to see how we're going to apply. We need to see how we can work on this, how we can move forward in order to recover this. This is something I like. Again, one year ago, we are having our life, normal life, let's say, Now we are happy because we do have our health. We are happy because we do have a job. And we are happy because our family is okay. So the value change, more or less will change. And we need just to see how we can deal with that. Because it didn't finish. Didn't finish. Okay, let's see. There's another part here I marked here to tell you guys. Here. Those who only find happiness by satisfying their pride and crude material appetites are unhappy when they cannot satisfy them, whereas those who are frugal feel happy with what for others would comprise misfortune. So we need to be happy because the other is happy. And let me see the people. I like when more people interact here with us. Paula is saying here, I agree, the values has been changed. It's baby steps. It's starting to change, but yes, it is changing. Today, I would say, especially me, I don't know you, Samantha. The first thing when I wake up, I thank you, God, for my health.
I thank all the time for everything.
Thank you for my health.
I actually have in a how can you say that? I have an alarm on my phone to ring during the day so I can thank. If I forgot to thank, then my alarm will remind me that I have to thank for everything that I have.
Yeah.
And I do that because I noticed that, at least with me, I noticed that I was closest to God when something bad was happening to me. And a lot of times I would forget to talk to him or to be more connected with him if good things were happening. So I decided to change that. And I decided that I would remember to connect with him when I'm happy as well. So it's just a personal thing.
Yeah, well, but it is, Like how not like look the sun is today here. How to not look this and say thank you very much for the beautiful day we have today.
And it's interesting what you said, because like our perspective changed a lot at the moment. So it's we are basically, a lot of us actually, because some people are struggling, and I acknowledge that, and I actually I am sorry for that also. I know it's a very challenging time, but a lot of things that we could do in the past we can't at the moment. And now, we say I was happy, and I didn't know that. So I
Exactly.
I wasn't, I was complaining about my job. I was complaining about whatever. I had to meet with that friend. It could be anything. And now everything that I wanted was to have a job, or to see that friend, to be closer to people. But me personally, what I want to do is, when this thing is over, hopefully it will be, I just want to go to a very crowded place. I hate the crowd, and I can tell you that I was never a big fan of concerts and things like that, because I hated, like, a lot of people. They, I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Please touch. Please let's.
Now what I want to do is, that, like, in the concert, when the singer is singing, and then they just jump in the crowd. That's what I want to do. I want to jump in the crowd.
Exactly.
So
we're giving value.
Change.
Yeah, we're giving value to this kind of relationship. We're giving value. How we miss to hug someone. How to look at the eyes of someone and say, "Hey, how are you?" That's what we are missing. And what's the lesson we are here? People are dying. People are passing away. We know we only die natural death. We die at the moment we need to die. Full stop. We know that. But it's a loss. It is a loss. We know the person will not die, the spirit will live, the life keep going. Fine, great. Thumbs up, that's it. But it's a loss. It's a loss to have that person beside you, in terms of seeing them, touch them, talk to them. It is a loss. And we had to reach that point because of envy and jealousy. I give an example. Why when Samantha was talking here, I was trying to remember. I think it's Ricardo. That is, let's compare. I don't know, when the richest man of America is Bill Gates. Okay, and let's take one richest man in Mexico. I think is Ricardo something. His own Claro, all this telephone company. Okay, he's the richest man in Mexico. So look at that example. Both guys are successful guys. Okay, money is not a problem for them. Okay, but one make his money in a kind of collaboration, make association with the others. Like, that's the way Microsoft grow. Like buying that company, unite. Oh, you have a good idea. Let me buy your company, and we can unite both products. And then you are connecting it, and the company was growing, and they are kind of incentivize people to work for them. to build for them and so on, and move on. In the other hand, we have a Mexican rich person. What they do, they buy companies and kind of build a kind of monopoly of that. So this kind of monopoly, look at the mentality of two people, two rich people, two successful people, but with different mentality. One with the mentality, okay, I grow and I will grow with others. One is I grow and the orders only will work for me and that's it. This could be one of the explanations why some countries are more developed than the others. Where is the opportunity? Where is your share? I don't know, perhaps the word here is as much as you share, more you receive. Like when you do a volunteer job, you think you are helping that person, but no, you are helping yourself. You are helping yourself. Because that person, they cannot retribute what you're doing with money, with anything, but they retribute with their love, the lessons life can bring, can give to you, lessons of life. Want to say something, someone?
No,
No,
not necessarily.
no.
I'm thinking about a lot of things here.
Yeah. So say something.
Well, I think that I may be wrong, right? I may be wrong, but I have the, well, I believe that it's true, because even the Spiritist literature says to us that we are in this transit. What's the word? I can't remember the word. So we are at the moment, the worlds. So we had the world in the past that was very primitive, and now we are in this transitory world, and in the future we'll be in a much better place. So I think because the world itself in general is changing it and it's transforming, right? So I didn't do history before people think that I did it. I'm just interested in these things, and I try to read about these things so I can learn. But we can see clearly throughout history how things changed, and how the Spiritist literature is right in saying that we are in a moment of transition now. So it's almost as if we were in the middle, right? And in the middle, you can see a little bit of everything. So we see, and we are trying to improve ourselves as well. So our values changed, and now we have better values, and the majority of people as well. And whereas before you would see a lot of bad things happening, and most of things that would happen were bad, and people were suffering a lot, like they didn't have good lives at all, and now they could die at any minute because of anything. Well, not that we can't now, but we have a little bit more security now, a little bit, depending on where you are in the world as well. So, but it's better than it was before. And we can see good things happening, and at least people have this notion of what is good and what is bad, and people's value is changing. So what could show that is, the European COVAX thing that is happening. You could argue it's not perfect. You could even say you can't say it's not good. You can't say, in principle, it's not a good idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because global problems require global solutions. And this is a global problem. Now, I'm not being leftist here and saying that we need to share everything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is a problem that affects all of us. And regardless of the situation, we need to solve the problem together. So this is one thing. Another thing is this Black Lives Matter movement. This is huge, and I think it's so nice to see this thing happening. I'm not saying, again, it's perfect. I don't want to enter any type of I understand, like, nothing of those things are perfect, but at least we can see them with different eyes. We acknowledge the goodness in so many things that we wouldn't in the past. And I just find it like very interesting,
Yeah.
And I believe we can see those good things at the moment. And another thing is that, when you were saying about the news, that bad news are in the news all the time, and the reason for that, like, there are many reasons, of course, but one of the reasons is that those bad things, they impact, or at least we tend to see them as more impactful than good things, right? So we still have this type of mindset. Maybe we change it in the future when we see that the impact of good things are much better, and therefore we should talk about them more. But I also think that it's up to you to tune to the right channels so you can get the right information, or like, you need to know what's happening in the world, regardless of this thing being good or bad. You need to know what's happening, but there are so many good things happening as well. So if you give the power to the media to tell you what you want to learn, then you're just giving up your power. And I know it's challenging, and it's a choice that you need to make every single day, because it's easy to just turn up the radio and leave it in whatever channel it is. You have to do more if you need to search.
Mm-hmm.
But like, learning and trying to educate yourself is an important thing, as a citizen and as a person.
And I saw an article. While you were talking, I was trying to find it here. I don't know why I saw this. I was working here, and when just a message pop up and then out. I think is England, UK is suing China is accusing China for being a practice of genocide. So it's totally opposite what you just said. It's what the point is, like, accuse another country being, okay, started there, but could start it somewhere. Then open for many theories here. I'm not go to this. We are saying here, we are evaluating here, a person should be the humanity should be less envy, less jealous, in order to progress, in order to achieve, in order to go further. Why we have these attitudes? We don't go anywhere. And I just saw we are over time. I see when we start to talk about this, we are kind of over time. So there is a comment here from Gabriel Parado. The problem of life is an opportunity to be a better person. Nowadays, a hug, pray, to be closer to people that we love, never been so important. A big virtual hug from Brazil. Thank you, Gabriel. That's the message as well. That's the message as well. We need to give value for those are around us. Okay? And Leah said, all lives matter. Exactly. Regardless where they are, how they are, everyone's matter. Okay, so we finish here. We can thank you very much, guys, for the opportunity. Thank you, Samantha, for your logical approach as usual. Thank you very much.
Not sure.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Gabrielle. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Don. Thank you, everybody who's joining us today and those who are gonna see us later on. Thank you, and I wish you have a blessed weekend. This Sunday, we do have a talk, our normal hour, 11:15, and this lady here is the one who will talk this Sunday.
Go help me.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys in 45 minutes with the spiritual.
Do you want to do the final prayer before we?
I will do. I will do. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. I also would like to invite everyone to raise up your thoughts, make connection with superior spirits, the spirits who are guiding us, always giving us good advices, good vibrations, good thoughts. And sometimes, and most of the time, you don't listen to them. May this prayer reach our brothers and sisters who are in the hospitals, suffering not just for COVID, but any other kind of disease. Those who are feeling alone at home, thinking about suicide, developing depression. May this prayer reach those who just passed away and they are feeling weak, lost. May this prayer reach them. May we have a blessed day full of joy and happiness. Thank you for our health. Thank you for our job. Thank you for having food at home. So be it. Amen. Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day. I'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.